Welcome to IDG Chit Chat Live for the week of March 23rd, 2016. Excuse me, I can't speak today. Today we'll be talking about this past week's episode of Long Lost Family and Relative Race. Hope you're ready. So here we are. We missed last week, unfortunately, but here we are. I've got my crew. And I'm Jennifer Alford. I'm the publisher for the In-Depth Genealogist. And we also have with us Terry O'Connell and Christine Woodcock from Genealogy Tours of Scotland, and Mary Kircherati from MKR Genealogy. Thank you for coming, ladies.
Hey, Jen.
Well, I'm not used to being the host. Shannon's usually our go-to gal for all that. I had to get some coaching. But, here we are live and ready to talk genealogy TV. So how's everybody's week going? You having a good week?
Yeah.
No? Yeah?
It's good. My kid's home, so it's always good.
Oh, that's nice. Unfortunately, that means you have a day in the car to and from, right?
Yes, let's not forget that.
So today we're going to talk about some genealogy TV. And before we dig into that, I wanted to share some podcasts that I've come across. I'm a regular listener of several different podcasts. It helps me get through the day as a traffic engineer to be able to listen to all my genealogy buddies. And so I listen to shows like at least Louise Cook's Genealogy Gems podcast, and I think it was a week or two ago, she interviewed two of the people from Relative Race on her podcast. Cool. Yeah, she interviewed Janice and Patrick Wright, who were the couple from Alaska.
Okay.
And
the black team.
I keep getting the couples confused, so I had to look it up so that I wouldn't sound stupid. But but it was a really interesting interview because the wife was definitely more interested in the genealogy part, and he was along for the ride, so to speak. So once I listened to it, it was kind of interesting to watch the show and kind of see how they all interacted and what they really thought. And then I don't know if any of you listened to Extreme Genes podcast, but that is it's kind of a I don't know. I like it because it's kind of irreverent at times, and the host his name is Fisher, and he talks about skeletons in the closet and some of the more interesting finds that people get as they research their genealogy. But he interviewed the host and creator of Relative Race on his show. And so it's pretty interesting to hear about, how the show got started, and he did talk about Roots Tech and the premiere of that first episode there. And so it was really interesting. I highly recommend tuning in and listening to that podcast. So some other things coming up, not too much longer till Genealogy Roadshow. Yay! And who do you think you are?
Yay!
Yay!
Yes, very soon.
I am very excited
Can't
about
wait.
it. I'm very much looking forward to that. One of the things that I wanted to bring up is this week, actually, there's a new show called Follow Your Past that is on the Travel Channel. And it includes traveling around the world, giving each person a chance to walk in their ancestors' footsteps. And each step of the way,
Wow.
they learn about their family's contribution to world history, which to me sounds pretty awesome.
What's really cool about it is that they have no clue.
Really?
They've not been researching their family. One girl in today's episode was like, yeah, we have nobody spectacular. We're not daredevils. And like her, they did, I think, 2 ancestors, and it was all war related, and they were huge daredevils.
Oh, wow.
Amazing show.
Cool.
Really am loving it.
Yeah, so our good buddy J. Mark Lowe's involved in that, and I know that uh, Gene Hibben also did some research for it. A number of genealogists have mentioned it on their Facebook pages, so it's kind of cool, you know, to know people that have worked on these projects.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe someday we'll get to.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Christine, do you get all this out by you, or do you have to like watch it online, or?
I have to listen to you guys tell me all about it.
We'll burn it all.
We don't. But you know what? I think that whole follow my past or whatever it is sounds like I want to do that. That's like what I do with people.
Yeah, it might give you some good ideas for your business.
I know. That was that cast or TV?
What's that?
Was it on TV?
The Travel
Was it on TV? Okay.
Yes.
Slower or louder?
So, you know, we all have to watch our genealogy fixes however we can find them. And so I actually watched Long Lost Family about 20 minutes before we started recording. And then Relative Race, I had to watch through the ads. We don't have BYU TV around here. And so I was watching on my phone earlier today, taking notes furiously. But, you know, we all go through different things to try and find where we can watch this stuff. And, you know, luckily, most of us are able to get to it. So we missed last week on Long Lost Family. We weren't able to chit-chat about it due to many issues. Today we managed to get online and make it happen. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about Long Lost Family, and let's start with the couple who had given up their son. I was just amazed by that story.
It was a very, very touching story, and I believe it made me cry.
I know it made me cry.
It was totally about the fact that he was so open and accepting of the story, even though the couple stayed together, got married, had these girls. And I was so happy and pleased that they brought the whole family together, his wife, the baby, the sisters.
Yes.
So it wasn't just him meeting mom and
Yes.
dad and saying, it's okay, like, I appreciate what you've done. It was, this is my family. And the adoptive mother, too, was there.
Yeah, and the way the adoptive mother
Yeah.
and the birth mother, the way they hugged each other,
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
it was
That
such
was
a
so
gift
touching.
for
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was terrible that the letters stopped, and it was all because staff changed, right?
Well, I think they said that the
They
letters
had
went
the
on
letters going
longer
back
than
and forth.
what they thought.
Yeah, they
was-
normally wouldn't have gone on so long. So the
Right. Well,
family got
but had
benefit,
there not
but
been a turnover in staff,
yeah.
Yeah.
had there not been a turnover in staff, because they were probably only supposed to happen for the first year, but because the staff knew the story, they kept that up, and then when the staff retired or left or whatever, that stopped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a shame.
And
they're
each one
you
thinking
know,
that something had happened.
right.
Right.
They're assuming the worst.
Right.
I mean, that's just
Absolutely.
awful. But yeah, I really loved that all the different family members from both sides got together.
Oh,
I
it
mean,
totally would have been a like,
that
what
was
happened?
just like,
What happened?
Well, and it was so fun to see how much that young man looked like his dad.
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, the minute I saw him, it was like, whoa.
I know.
Yeah, that was really awesome. And then, you know, that they had, you know, basically that couple had taken some time off, you know, when she went away to college, and then they got back together. And, you know, it was just like, it was really sweet that they were able, you know, to get past that, to to build a family together, and then now they have the son Devin and his child that are new parts of the family again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was just really
Well,
awesome.
and the dad said that if it hadn't been for the shared experience, they probably wouldn't have stayed together, right?
Yeah, he did.
Right.
And if they had the
Yeah.
baby, they just wouldn't have been happy. They were too young to have
They would have been
been
together.
had the
Yeah.
responsibility of being parents,
Yeah.
so the marriage probably
Oh yeah.
wouldn't have worked out. So, um,
What I loved is that they went and used the letters that had been sent as clues to track down the
Yes.
family.
right, yeah,
And recently online there's been so much discussion of, letters and privacy and all this kind of stuff. You know, I know Amy Johnson Crow mentioned that, uh, what was it, AARP on their
Mm-hmm.
blog.
yeah,
They had
yeah.
said
Had
something about burning letters, and then she
burning
was like,
yeah. No,
no.
no.
So, it was really good to see that, they recognized the value there and were able to use that to help reconnect that family.
And that the researchers were really thinking
Mhm.
outside the box. Like,
Oh,
here's a
yeah.
picture. It's got a time. That's the day they left the hospital. They have to be within that range.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I probably wouldn't have put two and two together right away. Like, oh, he's a cute baby. Oh, how are we going to find his parent?
See, with my luck, the timestamp on the camera would have been wrong.
Or that. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Seriously. So let's talk about the other family, um, the young black lady,
Yeah.
Leslie.
Oh
Yes.
my God. My heart broke for that woman, that she was
Mhm.
totally on her own, gave birth on her own, kept it all a secret. Unbelievable heartache for her.
Her whole
And it
life.
was
Too.
like she was 16.
Just
I mean,
unbelievable
still
story.
back to the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
To protect the baby.
Right.
Yeah.
And that she hid her pregnancy all that time from her parents
Yeah.
and gave birth alone.
And the
I
birth.
mean,
In the middle of the night.
that birth story, oh my gosh. Finally called the ambulance and got to the hospital. I'm just like, oh my God.
It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But I
I thought
loved how they
go ahead.
solved that. I loved how they solved that one by looking at Cedar Rapids and looking at what the African American population was in Cedar Rapids and
Mm-hmm.
finding yearbooks and the way they were able to narrow it down. That was really a great search strategy.
Again, really outside the box thinking
Yeah.
to work it.
Yeah, that was amazing. And I loved that, she was, of course, I'm a sucker for emotion. So as soon as she starts getting all emotional and then when she's reunited with her daughter and, she gets all emotional about, what her life was like and in that she
Right.
needed to help her daughter escape that, and seeing
Yeah.
her daughter in tears and I'm just weeping and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I'm always
Such
thankful I
heartache.
watch this after everybody else goes to bed. Otherwise, they'd be like, "You're really loony."
I actually record the shows, and my friend comes over, and we have 3 hours of genealogy TV that we
that's
watch
awesome.
together. It's
How
very fun.
fun.
Oh, cool.
That's very cool. I sit there and watch it and then my husband makes little snide remarks off to the side and I try and ignore him. I'm like, go back to reading your website. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Read Facebook.
Funny. Yeah, they were both very, very touching, and I'm glad that they're moving away from the easier stories. Like, oh well, we looked you up on the California Birth Index, and then we went and found the original, and
Yeah,
oh, here we are.
right. Yeah, they definitely were having to get more creative in how they found people.
But I actually did help somebody
I
find
think
a
what
birth
really
mother.
Melissa or Mary?
Before before that show started, just a few weeks ago, about a month and a half ago, I actually used the California Birth Index and was able to find an adoptive mother and
Oh, that's
Really?
raised her. And I mean, we did this, as strange as it seems, in one afternoon. And
Oh, wow.
6 days later, she actually got to meet the birth mother.
wow, that's amazing.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
it was very, very cool.
Were you at all nervous about how it was
Yeah,
going to go?
yeah. I mean, I was, but it worked out really great. The sad part was that there had been an older sister, and this older sister was really sad that and mad at her mother for giving up her baby.
Hmm.
They were about 8 years apart, um, and the older sister had just passed away from cancer about a year ago. So
Oh,
that was very
That's too
sad. But
bad.
I almost couldn't help but think that, the older sister was kind of guiding
Instrumental in it.
this.
Sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's time. It's time to do this.
yeah.
So
Right. Definitely. What were you going to say, Christine?
I'm really amazed that all of the children who have been given up have not, like, none of them have been angry. They've all just held this real love and concern for the birth parent.
The angry people probably didn't apply to the show.
Or didn't get accepted, maybe, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Well, and
but the son, I mean, he was shown Devin, but would they have shown him if he hadn't
Right.
wanted to be reunited? So
Right.
I don't think. I mean, you wonder who has tried, through the show and gotten a bad response, and so just
Yeah.
didn't make it
Yeah.
there.
Because that doesn't make interesting TV.
no. Well, it might for us, but
Yeah,
it wouldn't be the nice, happy TLC channel.
yeah.
Well, any other thoughts on Long Lost Family?
Looking forward to next week already.
Yeah,
Me
me
too.
too. I gotta make sure it's
Already,
actually
I know.
recording this time. For some reason it didn't record. All right, let's talk about Relative Race. Now, Christine, have you gotten to watch Relative Race yet?
I have not. We don't have BYU
Ah,
here. And for some reason, even though it says World Wide Web, a lot of the stuff, like when you guys have Finding My Roots or Finding Your Roots, and then the recordings on the next day and available on the channel, we can't access that. So if we
boo.
miss the live event, then we don't get it.
Where
That
are you,
stinks.
Christy?
Mars.
Ontario. Mars. Yeah, I feel like it.
From Mars.
You're not that far. You could just drive
An
down.
hour from Buffalo. You think I would be able to get it?
Well,
Yeah, I'll do
I
that.
actually maybe have some ideas for you. I'll tell you later, but of how you can watch TV from foreign countries.
Ah,
Okay,
sneaky.
thank you.
Yeah.
We'll need to do another podcast on that. How to watch TV from foreign
How
countries.
to legally watch
You
TV in
get your
foreign countries.
Well, I lived in Australia and I needed to watch some American TV when I was there, so I figured
Ah.
out how to do it.
Huh.
That is,
Right.
there's nothing worse. In Ireland, I was like banging my head against the wall at night. Like I can't watch any of my shows.
But you were in Ireland.
Yes, but I still needed something to put me to sleep.
Oh, yeah, I forgot your little habit.
So I turned to America. American TV puts me to sleep.
It makes
I
you relax.
watch TV to go to bed. I relax with it. Like I'm only on my fifth run through of Gilmore Girls.
Oh, wow.
They laugh at me at this point. They're like, "Really again?" Yes, it's good.
I love that show.
Me too.
Okay, well, let's talk about Relative Race. Last week, I thought it was a really great episode. There were a lot of great connections with the family members, and there was fun stuff to watch. But I noticed that they were starting to get a little car crazy, and they were starting to pick on each other a bit. So I was real curious how this week was going to turn out, and especially for that youngest couple, the Randalls, because they have 2 strikes, and third strike, you're out. So I was real curious how the pressure was going to go for them.
Seemed this week was a lot better, but I don't think they all drove as far as the week before. I think only one of them had really like a big distance.
Yeah, Yeah, I think most of them are around 6 hours.
Yeah, one of them was like 9+, but the others were all right around 6.
Yeah. But one of the things I noticed with the youngest couple is, they were starting to get antsy and upset and all that kind of stuff. And then uh, the girl was like, you know, we need to remember this is just a game and our relationship is more important.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Right. That was good.
Reality.
That was really sweet
I
that
was
she
really
said that.
impressed with her that young,
Yeah.
to recognize that.
What I really felt about in watching them, because they have 2 strikes,
Hmm.
to see how much, the family that's waiting for them to show up at the door is excited about it, that I feel really bad for those potential families out there that might not get
Yes.
their
Yeah.
relative to come because they're going to get struck out, and it's like so unfair. It's like, well, let them keep on. I mean, maybe don't let them win the prize, but let them keep on the road and keep
Right.
on going to these places.
Yeah, that would be so sad to get kicked out and be like, wait, I still want to meet all my people.
Yeah, and then my people want to meet me.
Can we talk about the woman who is buying Depends and peeing in bags?
Yeah, I was like, what? Where
No.
where did that come from? I was like, really, you can't stop for 5 minutes to pee. You got to do it in the car.
She was drinking like big gulp-sized drinks the whole day. At the end of the show, she's like, "Oh, in the morning we have to stop and pick up."
Oh God, we got Christine going.
It's a good job I don't watch it, because if we were messaging back and forth, nobody would be able to. Yeah. That's horrendous.
It was funny, but yeah, that was a little crazy.
Yeah, I didn't really feel like it was necessary to kind of really. They kept hammering on that,
Yeah, I was
and
like,
they're editing the show. Could we really just skip this part?
well, I don't even remember that from the episode before.
I think it was the
Anything
episode
about it.
before.
Because
Well,
then,
it was both of them. Yeah.
okay, I must have missed that somehow. But then they're like bringing it up over and over, and I'm like, come on, I don't want to hear about this. I mean,
It depends on the major sponsor, though.
Well, maybe they were inspired by that astronaut lady who drove across the country with diapers on, and
Oh Lord.
that crazy story down in Texas.
Yeah. Stalker woman.
Yeah.
Too funny.
But I thought one of the things I noticed this time, and I missed the first episode, or maybe first 2 episodes, so I've been playing catch up. Did they have problems with getting photos rejected that they sent in before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't seen that in.
But I agree with you that the host guy really has control over it, because he didn't take that photo from a quarter mile away, and yet the people were on the highway and saw Texas on the track. Well, they could have been 20 miles away.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
That one. I thought that wasn't very fair.
Well, and plus, they have the camera crew right behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, you can't trust that they are that close.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of.
But the rules are the rules. You have to be within the city limits. The sign says Chicago 1 mile is not within the city limits. Come on, if you were to lose based on that person, you'd be ticked. You'd be like, no, he was a mile out.
Yep.
So.
True.
If I lost because somebody had Depends and I had to stop to go pee, I'd be upset.
Well, if you ever do it, we'll send you a box. Matter of fact, maybe we'll have some waiting in your room.
No fair. You didn't stop for a pee break. No fair.
Well, at least they didn't have a bucket
goodness.
sloshing around the back of the car.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking at first. I was like, what is she peeing in? I didn't know what it
I'm going to do a
was. I
blog
was
post
like,
now on
what?
Cookie
The proper etiquette of road trips. You must stop to pee.
Yes,
Loop.
please.
Chamber pot behavior.
Oh
My
my
connection
goodness.
with my great grandmother.
Oh,
But she had a window to throw it out of.
Ew.
exactly.
Yuck.
At least she could pull over. The other couple pulled over for the girl to jump out and pee on the lawn.
Oh my
All right, this has gone too far.
She didn't throw it out the
Anyway.
window, did she?
No.
Uncontrollable.
So let's move on from the potty team.
That would be you, Terry.
So the red team is the couple with the baseball player who was his
That
Oh,
was so
first
cool.
cousin.
first cousin he didn't know about.
Yes, that was a great one.
Yeah, it was really touching to like see the guy all teared up and stuff, and he was so excited. It was so
The
cute.
both of them, though,
Yeah.
you know. But I think that was also his first family member. The rest have all been hers.
Yeah.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Okay, that explains
And
it.
I think because it was such a cool reunion, they didn't even mind getting the strike.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, heck, did you see that meal that couple prepared for them? It looked amazing.
I personally, I enjoyed when they were hitting the balls, and he had to tell the husband what to do to hit it, and then he got it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the guy went right up and was like crack, crack, crack.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool seeing how well they all related to each other. I'm sure that, when this is all said and done, they're gonna really build on that
I
relationship.
hope so.
Yeah.
They could do a show after this, just on the relationship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Although I do, one of the things, I don't know whether this bothers you guys about it, but some of the comments that the people make about, coming up to their relative's house that, oh, this house looks scary or
Yeah.
weird, or, they kind of complain about the decorating. That one, I
That's that
I
same.
worry
That's
about.
so rude.
Yeah, and those poor people, the hosts that they've graciously, let strangers come stay in their home, and, now their friends are watching it, and
Right.
and I don't know. That part, I think that's something else that there's obviously way more filmed than 1 hour's worth of entertainment, and I think they could not necessarily have to put some of those things in.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So I don't want to know if somebody was talking about me.
Well, I'm sure some of it is like, they're trying to create a little controversy or something. But, I just think it takes away from the whole point of the show.
I think it is the one girl, she's like a germaphobe. This is the one who's continuously worried. She's a germaphobe,
Yeah.
and she's the one that had the dolls staring at her on night one. So she's completely, like, always worried about what's going to happen.
Yeah, that'd be really hard to do that trip with
I
that
don't know if
worry
I
all the
could do.
time.
I don't know if I could do it. Go and stay in people's houses I didn't know. I don't know. Maybe I could. I don't know. Christine, could you?
Why, maybe, but you know what? That reminds me. We had my mom, and this was in the days before email and everything, and was a nurse in Scotland, and they had 7 years of training, which included an internship. And then when they came over here, they weren't recognized by the college of nurses, and they were seen as inferior to the 2 or 3 year program that had happened here.
Wow.
So my mom and this lady from Ottawa, which is about 350 miles from here, fought the College of Nurses, and they were with the College of Nurses about it, and my mom went up to Ottawa. Now, she and Frances had talked on the phone, but she had never met Frances. And she stayed, and she said my mom was a psychiatric nurse, and she said she didn't sleep a wink all night because the husband had really shifty eyes, and he never looked at her in the eyes, and he was really, like she said, she said he was lovely and he was polite. My mom didn't sleep a wink because she was sure he was coming to kill her. And then in the morning she gets up and she comes downstairs and she finds him reading a Braille book.
Oh my God.
And nobody had told her he was blind.
I bet she felt horrible. Oh, that's classic. I love it.
Oh, Christine.
I know.
Well, you should get ready for strangers, because you know half of the genealogy world is going to be moving to Canada soon. It's all gonna
Yes.
be home.
Half of the whole world is going to be moving.
Oh my gosh.
Too funny. That is.
That's hilarious. Is there anything else about relative race that we want to talk about?
I'm just curious to see who's gonna win this. Has anybody got any? I mean, what do you think?
I don't know. It's I don't know. I think it's such a chance, because like that one couple, they got stuck behind a train.
Yeah, but they still came in like first
Yeah.
place, I think.
Yeah, I think they came in second.
The
But
green.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so just the slightest thing could really screw them up. Road construction, thanks to
Yeah.
my lovely
I'd
brother.
give them a run for their money.
Traffic accident. Yeah.
Yeah, you just never know. So yeah, I'll be real curious. I'm hoping that as they go, they're gonna start to learn, better methods for asking people directions, and because a lot of it, they're just kind of like, okay, where do we go? Let's go, let's go. Take a moment with the family that you just stayed with overnight.
Which the green team did.
Which they
Call
were
them,
smart
call
this
them
time.
fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, take advantage of their local knowledge and use that to apply to your road trip that you have for the next day.
And good Lord, learn how to read a map. You don't always have cell service everywhere you go.
Exactly. Of course, I am totally guilty of rarely having a map in the car. I rely on my phone so much.
Well, I do the same, but like we did road trips as kids.
Yeah.
And we had, one of those big drivable RVs, and the only way you could sit in the front seat was you had to be able to read the map. You had to be able to tell him where the next rest stop was and about how far, and be able to read the towns that you were going through. So we learned very quick to read those maps because you wanted to sit in the cool front seat.
That's where you get to see everything.
Yeah. And my kids
Well, and for us, we did trips as well. You had the map, and the big excitement was when you got to refold the map because the part that you were moving into had been covered up.
Right.
But nobody ever does that now, right?
So I have a couple atlases that are meant to be kept in my car, probably about 5 or 6, and I probably don't have one in the car. but I can read it.
Yeah. That's half the battle right there.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like our time is almost up. Are there any last-minute things we want to talk about that we forgot to discuss? No? Okay. Well, thank you all.
We've hit it all.
Yeah, we have covered a lot. Definitely. So I want to thank you all for being here tonight. It was great having you on the show. And a special thank you to Shannon, who coached me through how to set this sucker up. And hopefully everything will go smoothly when everyone can watch it on YouTube. So next week, Chit Chat, we'll be talking more about relative race and long lost family. And maybe we'll talk some more about that new Travel Channel show too. So remember, we would love to hear from you. Drop us a line in the comments below, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or send us an email at editor@theinDepthGenealogist.com. On that note, have a great day, and remember to go in depth with all of your ancestors. Bye.